Alright, so in this video we're gonna try to do Model Test 3, Section 4 of the Barron SAT 29 editions. So it's gonna be the second math sections, and this is gonna be the math test with calculator, so you can use your calculator. So they're gonna be 38 questions in 55 minutes, so we have roughly an hour, almost an hour. So you can also find the link for the book, the textbook, in the description down below. So let's dig in to the questions. Okay. So here is number 1 of test 4. Okay, so number 1. Okay, so after leaving a tendery and driving a rate speed of 40 miles per hour, Bridges arrived at her parents' home at 1:30 p.m. How fast in miles per hour would she have to travel? She had to have driven. Okay, how fast in miles per hour would she have had to have driven in order to have arrived on? Okay, so we can see that initially the time, the initial time I'm gonna denote it by T1 is 1:30 p.m. minus 10:30 p.m. 10:30 a.m. right? And that's 13:13 minus 10:30, so it's actually 3 hours. Okay, so her speed I'm gonna denote it by is as v1. As for velocity 1 is 40 miles per hour, so divided by hours. Okay, so with this we can calculate the road, right? The travel distance, the distance Beatrice has to travel. We're gonna denote the distance as, and S gonna be v1 times t1, gonna be equal to 40 miles per hour, so this is an hour, right? And time 3 hours, so okay, sorry this is time 3 hours, right? And that gonna be just 120 miles, right? Because the hour cancel, right? And 40 times 3 is 120. Alright, so here now, so we know the distance, right? But now they give us the second time, right? But we have the second time, we have the another you know, like given fact information, right? So now she want to arrive at 1 p.m. right? So T2 has to be, now we just have to change 1:30 p.m. into 1 p.m. so 1.00 1 p.m. minus 10:30 p.m. a.m. and that is 2.5 hours. So okay, but now we know that the distance is the same, right? It's 120 miles. So now we can figure out v2, right? v2 of course is gonna be the distance over t2, so it's 120 miles over 2.5 hours. So this is gonna give I believe it's 48. Is that correct? So 20 divided 120 divided by 2.5, so it's gonna be equal to sorry about this. So equal to 48, right, 48. So it's actually 48 miles per hour. So it's 48 miles per hour. So the answer for A is gonna be B, right? Because that's how it is, right? Because we are at 48, right? So I want to just put this in the right position like this. Okay. Okay. So that's number one. So we have 48 miles per hour. Okay, so let's move on. You can take a screenshot. So let's move on to number two. Okay. The final exam in the university psychology course was an average of arithmetic mean of 86. Average of MN is 80 and W women is 90. So what's the ratio of the man to woman? Okay. So number two. Alright. So now we know that the average of MN is 80. Okay, so MN and the average is 80. So all of the score of man gonna be 80 times M, right? Because that's how you calculate the sum, right? So you're gonna take the average, multiply with the number of elements, right? So the average is 80 and there is M man. So the total points of man is 80 M, 80 times M, right? Similarly, you have the total point for women is 90 W. Okay, and now, so if this 80, yeah, 80 times 9. Okay, so and now if you add the point of all men with the point of all women, you will have the point of whole course, right? Of whole course. Okay, right. And now this term 80M plus 90W is actually the point of whole course. And now, if you divide this by the number of students in the course, you will get the average of the whole course, right? But what is the number of all the students in the course? So it's of course M plus W, because men plus women, number of men plus number of women, right? So you got 86. Right, this is the average point of the whole classes. So we just have to simplify this term, right? So I'm gonna multiply the denominator. I'm gonna multiply both sides with the denominator. So the denominator gonna cancel on the left side, and on the right side we have M plus W times 86. So we have 80M plus 90W equal to 86M plus 86W, right? So a little bit of transformation, and you're gonna get 4W. Okay, so it's gonna be like this: 90W minus 86W gonna be equal to 86M minus 80M. Okay, so this is 4W equal to 6M. Okay, so there are number of men to women, so we have to find M over W. Okay, so men M over W, so it's gonna be 4 over 6, and it's gonna be 2 over 3. So the answer is B. Okay, so and in the answer sheet we also have B, right? So yes, that's how it is. Okay. Number 3. Okay, we have a huge chart here. So household, so you can see a little bit here. So this is distribution by they categorize this by million. So you can see that there is millions. So they can see that there is an increase in you know, like the total of the household. Okay, but here is the distribution, the percentage distribution. and the second graph is the percentage distribution. So number 3, they ask, based on the information the graph above, what all of the following statements are true except, okay, there was more household with 5 or more person in 1960 in 2000s. The percent of one person household more than triple from 1940 to 2000s. The median size of houses in 1970 was 3 people, and also the percent of 2-person household increased every decennial census from 1940 to 2000s. Okay, so this is they asking which of all the following statements are true except, which means they ask for the wrong statement, right? So one trick to find out the wrong statement is that we're gonna find some absolute answer, which means answer that state that this thing is always right or this thing is always wrong. So that is usually the wrong statement. Okay, so in this case number D say the percent of 2-person household increase every decennial. So every decennial, so this is likely to be wrong, right? So let's suspect 3 is the answer is D, and in fact the answer for 3 is actually D, because you can see here. So for 2-person household in 1950, so 2-person household is number 2 area from underneath, right? We calculate, we see from underneath up. So the second column is a 2-person household, right? So but here you can see in 1950 the statistic is 28.1, and to 1960 is 28.0. So we say that the percent increase in every decennial is actually wrong, okay? Because actually there was one decade at least that there is a decrease in percentage. So number D is wrong. That's why the answer is D. Okay. All right. So number 4. Okay, number 4. Okay. So they asked about a rectangle ABCD. The length is twice the width BC. Okay, so number 4. So ABCD. Okay, so if we so if the length was double and the width is half. Okay, so now we have AB is equal to 2BC. Okay, 2 times BC. Okay, so if we set, okay, we can set AB equal to 2, right? Because it's 2 of something, right? So therefore BC by default going to be 1, right? Okay, what do they ask? If the length was double, so now we have AB new, right? The new value for AB is double, so it's actually 2 times 2, so that's 4. Okay, and the area and the width were half, so BC new, it's just half, right? It's half, so 1 times a half is a half, right? 0.5. Okay, so they ask how the area and the perimeter are going to change. Alright, so let's calculate it. So okay, so the O area, the perimeter, so BO, okay, this is BO gonna be, okay, the perimeter of a triangle gonna be AB plus BC times 2, right? So it's 6, right? Okay, and the area O gonna be just 2 times 2 times 1. This is 2. Okay, so this is equal. Alright. Okay, so now we can calculate the same thing, right? So we calculate p mu. It's just 4 times 0.5, which is 2. So we can no, this is the area. Oh, area nu. Sorry. So this is the a nu. Sorry. So you can already see that we have to choose something that the area would not change. So we're gonna eliminate C and D, and we're gonna only have A and B left, right? Okay, so let's calculate P. So P nu gonna be equal to, okay, so 4 plus 0.5 and O times 2, that's actually 9. So it's actually 150% of 6, right? So so the area gonna be the same, but the perimeter gonna increase by 50%. So the answer for 4 is actually B. Okay, 4 is B. Alright. Alright, so let's continue. So for number 4 is B. Number 5. Alright. So we have weights in kilograms, and we have to convert it to pound, and they ask for which of them gonna be over 120 pounds. Okay. So so number 5. Okay, so 48 kilogram gonna be equal to, okay, we have to multiply 48 with 2.2, right, to find out its pound equivalent is 105.6 pound, 6 pound. Okay, so we're gonna find which is over 120 pounds. So this is absolutely not. Okay, so this is not. So now we're gonna have to convert the second one, which is 56 kilogram to pound. So 56, right? 56, and it's 123.2. So this is actually what is required, right? So 123.2. Okay. So now you can see, so because 26 kilogram is actually 123.2 pound, so now anything above 56 kilogram will also immediately satisfy the condition that it is over 120 pounds, right? So we know 61, so we don't have to calculate anymore. So this is pass. So this one we take, so it's we take when I mark it with a star here, and 61 is pass. So of course, okay, we don't know 52, right? We have 52 kilogram, we don't know what is equivalent to, right? So yes, so but 57 we know it passed. Okay, we know it passed because this, of course, is bigger than 120, because it's bigger than 56 kilogram, so it has to be heavier than 120 pound. So now we just have to calculate 52. This is passed. Okay, yeah, so 52 times 2.2 is, okay, it's 140, so it's not passed, right? So 114.4 pound. So this is not passed. So the number of students was 3. Over 120 pounds is 3. So 5 is C. Okay, 5 is C, and in the answer 5 is C. Okay, yeah, 5 is C. Okay, now let's move on to number 6. Alright, so okay, so number 6, we are given a table, right? So the information for 6 and 7 is based on the table. So we have freshman, sophomores, junior, and senior, and we have number of students and percentage of students. Number 6 is they ask us about T, right? The value of T, the total number of students, right? Okay, so we can observe this T is equivalent to 100%, right? Because that is what given. So T is equivalent to 100%. Okay. So we are also given that 15 is equivalent to 180 is equivalent to 15%. Alright. So in order to find T, which is equivalent to 100%, we're gonna take T gonna equal to 180 over 15 times 100, right? So this gonna be equal to 320. Okay, so the answer is no, this is not right. This is there was some calculation. I am sorry, I just miscalculated. Maybe I was so we can use a calculator, right? Can use a calculator on this section. So 180 over 15 times 100 is, yeah, sorry, 1200. So 1200. Okay, so the answer for 6 is B. Okay, so number 7, what is the value of Z? Okay, so in order to know Z, we actually have to find how we want to find. So if we know the percent of student corresponding with Z, which is W, so if we know W, we can find out Z, right? We can find out Z, right? So but here we also have that if we know Y, here the total number of students is T, which is 1200. So if we know Y, we're gonna know Z because the sum of all the students is actually 1200. So number 7, we're gonna have to find out Y first. So Y is actually 40% times T, right? So it's actually 40% times 100,000, 1,200, and that is 480. Okay. So Z gonna just equal to T minus Y, Z minus Y minus 120 and minus 180. Okay, so it is T is 1200, 1200 minus Y is 480 minus minus 120, which is minus 600. So we have 600 left, and that's 180, which is 422, right? So the answer for 7 is B. Alright, so 6 is B and 7 is also B. Okay, well, you know, the way we do in the answer maybe varies a little bit, but it's all the same. Okay, so 6 is B and 7 is B. Alright. Alright. So let's move on to number 8. Okay, number 8. Okay. For a smaller than negative 1, the minus 1, for a smaller than negative 1, which of the following could be the graph of y minus 1 is equal to a over a plus 1 x? Oh, okay, so y minus 1 is equal to a over a plus 1 times x, right? Okay, so let's write this in equal to form y equal to ax plus b first. So a equal to a over a plus 1 times x plus 1. Okay, so because a is smaller than negative 1, which mean two things, right? So two things. First of all, a is smaller than 0, obviously, but also a plus 1 is also smaller than 0 because well, you know, a plus 1 is also smaller than 0, right? Because that's how it is, right? So it means that a over a plus 1 is bigger than 0. So we wanna have a positive slope, right? So we're gonna have a positive slope. So we have positive slope because the equation y equal to a over a plus 1 times x plus 1, this one here, now gonna have a positive slope, right? So positive slope. So the answer has to be A or C, right? It could not be B or T because those have a negative slope. So it's A or C. Alright. Now we know that when you plug 0 and 1 in, right? So for example, if y equal to a over a plus 1 x plus 1 like this, right? So if x equal to 0, then we also figure out that y equal to just 1, right? So the graph has to go through 0, 1, right? Graph goes through 0, 1. So it has to have a positive slope, which is A or C, and it has to go through 0, 1. So while in C it goes through 0 minus 1, and in A it goes through 0, 1 exactly. So for number 8 is A. Okay, so number 8, the answer is A. Yeah, this is A. Right. Alright, so let's move on to number 9. Okay, 22 feet per second, and we have to change that to miles per hour. So 22 feet per second. So it's gonna be equal. Okay, so 1 hour is 300. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds, right? 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. So it's 22 feet time per second. Wanna be time with 360 3,600 seconds per hour. So the second gonna cancel and we have feet per hour. So it is so 22 times 360, 3600 gonna be 79,200 second feet, right, per hour, right, per hour. So okay, but we also have 1 mile equal to 5,280 feet, so this is also equal to we have to divide now. So 5,280 feet per mile. So the feet gonna cancel and the mile gonna go up. So have to divide it by 280 15. So we have 15 miles per hour. So the answer is C. So 15 mile per hour. So the answer is C, right? And the answer for 9 is C. Alright. Alright. Okay, so number 10. Okay, so the average of 5 positive numbers is 70. What is the largest possible value of the median? Okay, so let's denote those integer. Positive integer is 1. And I'm gonna denote it that way. Okay, x5 gonna be the largest. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna calculate to find out the median of this set. So x1 plus smaller than x2, smaller than x3, smaller than x4, smaller than x5. So we have 5 positive numbers like this, right? So here. Okay, so we have x1 smaller than x2, smaller than x3, smaller than x4, smaller than x5. I mean smaller than or equal to, okay? And now they are given us that the average is 70, which means that x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5, we have 5 elements, so we have to divide that by 5, and that's gonna be equal to 70. Okay, so that is what we know from the given information, right? So that's obvious. That's X. Okay. All right. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 divided by 5 is 70 because of the average, and we're gonna set x1 to be the smallest, is smaller than equal to x2, smaller than equal to x3, smaller than equal to x4, and smaller than equal to x5. Okay, so now we're gonna get the median is actually x3, right? So now we're gonna, because x3 is the middle when we have arranged the numbers, right? It's the middle when we have arranged number. So now we're gonna have to find out the maximum of x3, right? We have to find out the maximum of x3. So let's find the sum first. Okay, let's find the sum first. So the sum of the 5 number is just the average times the number of elements, which is 70 times 5, because x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 is 350. Okay, so now we know that x3 is smaller or equal to x4 and smaller than equal to x5, right? So x3 plus x4 plus x5 has to be larger than 3 times x3. So in simple term, you know, if you have 3 number and we know that one is the smallest, so the sum has to be greater or equal to 3 times the smallest, right? Because that's obvious, right? So each number is larger or equal to the smallest. There was 3 number, so the sum of 3 number has to be greater or equal to 3 times the smallest, right? Okay, alright. Okay, so we have been this far, alright. But we also have that 335 is bigger than x3 plus x4 plus x5. Okay, let's examine this term first. 350 is bigger than or equal to x3 plus x4 plus x5 because because it's simply x1 is bigger or equal to 0, same as x2. Okay, so it has to be that way because the other two are also non-negative number, so therefore this term has to be bigger or equal to 3x3 times 3. Okay, because what we have found out on the previous line, right? So let's erase that line. Let's erase the underneath line. So now we have 350 has to be bigger or equal to 3x3, right? So we have that because you look at the inequality there, right? So 350 has to be bigger or equal to 3 times x3, right? So we also have to we find out that x3 has to be smaller than or equal to 350 over 3, which is 116. Okay, so with this rational, x3 had to be smaller than or equal to 350 over 3, which is roughly 1.16. Okay, so we know that the largest possible, and we know that x3 is actually the median, right? So but you know that x3 is actually the median, right? So so x3 actually the median. So the median has to be greater or smaller than or equal to 116. So the largest possible value of the median is actually 116. Okay, so the answer for this question 10 is actually C. Okay, and that's how we find out. C. Okay, so that's how we find out. 10 is C. Yeah, so that's 10 is C. Okay, so let's come to question 11. Okay, number 11. Okay. So we have 20 schools. So each school with less than 2,000 students gonna send 2 delegates, and school with more than 2,000 gonna send 3 delegates. Okay. And we know that 50 delegates attend the conference. Okay. Okay, so let's set X to be district, school district with student with less than 2,000 students. Okay, and we're gonna students, right? And we're gonna set Y to be school district with more or equal to 2,000 students, right? So this is more or equal to, and that's gonna be Y. Okay, so so there was 20 district, right? We have 20 school district, so we have X plus Y equal to 20. Okay, so for the district with less than fewer than 2,000 students, they are given 2 delegates, so we have 2x delegates, right? And for the district corresponding to Y, which is the district that has greater or equal to 2,000 students, each of them were represented by 3 delegates, so we have plus 3i delegates, and it was 55 in total. So to solve this, we're gonna have x equal to, alright, so if you multiply this equation by 2, this is actually equivalent with 2x plus 2y equal to 40, right? So if you take this equation minus this equation, you're gonna get y equal to 15, right? Y equal to 15, so x is actually equal to 5. Okay, and that's very true. So now they ask what's the percent of the school district that fewer than 2,000. So percentage gonna be equal to x, because less than 2,000 over x plus I, and we're gonna multiply by 100%, so it's actually 5 over 5 plus 50 times 100%, which is 25%, right? So it's 1/4, so the answer is A, right? It's A. Okay. Okay. Number 12. Okay, number 12 one has to deal with Pythagorean Theorem. Right, let's finish number 11 first for you guys. And this should be the equivalent sign. Okay. Okay. So number 12, we're gonna have to draw. So Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, it's approximately 3 times, right? This is not exactly what I want. Try to draw it well. So it's about 3 times. This is about 3 times, right? Approximately this ratio. Okay, so what is the side of the angle that the diagonal made with the longer side? Okay, so here's the diagonal. Alright, so they asked about the angle that the diagonal made with the longer side. So it is actually this angle. It's actually this angle, right? Right. So this red angle, I'm gonna just okay, and I'm gonna denote it as x. Okay. 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 Now I'm gonna name the corner for simplicity. So A B cap lock on B, and this corner is C and this corner is D. Alright, so what is the side of the angle that the diagonal make with the longer side? So they ask us just about the side of x, right? And now we know that BC is actually 1/3 of DC. Okay, so now if we set number 12, so if we set, okay, BC equals 3, then we can have BC equal to 1/3 of DC, which is 1. Okay, so that's first thing first. So okay, so first thing first. Okay, so okay, so let's note it on. So DC is 3 and BC is 1. Okay, now okay, so now sine of x, right, gonna be the opposites over the hypotenuse. So it's actually BC over DB, right? BC, so it's actually 1 over DB, right? So we have to find out DB, right? We have to find out DB in order to find out sine of x. Okay, so have to find out DB. Okay, but we know that because the angle, we know that the triangle DCB is actually a right angle triangle with the angle C being 90 degrees. So we have that DC square, according to Pythagorean Theorem, DC square plus BC square gonna equal to DB square. Okay, DB square. So DC square is 3 square plus BC square is 1 square, which is the total of 10, and that's equal to DB square. Okay, so you can know that DB is equal to square root of 10. Okay, square root of 10. Okay, so sine x is actually 1 over dB, gonna be 1 over square root of 10, right? Okay, so what is 1 over square root of 10? So 1 over square root of 10, so that's 0.316, so 0.316, so 0.316, so the answer for 12 is actually A. Okay, yes, 12 is A. Alright, 12 is A.